He sits me down at his desk and he throws this article at me, picks up this magazine right here, 50 biggest mafia bosses. He takes it and he throws it on a table. And he looks at it and he says, I don't want any mafia bosses taking over my prison. He said, what is this all about? Hey everybody, welcome to another Sit Down with Michael Franzese. It is now Friday, October 9th, heading into the weekend again. Boy, this time is flying. Before you know it, it's going to be Thanksgiving, then Christmas and New Year's, 2021. Who knows? At that point in time, maybe we will be in a better position with this COVID-19 pandemic. I certainly hope so. I know all of you do also. So, first off, I want to thank everybody for all the great comments that we got on Mob Movie Monday. We did a Bronx Tale on Monday and Tuesday. Got great comments, and I really appreciate that. And got a couple of things that I want to clarify that people brought to my attention, and they're absolutely correct. Number one, I kept saying that the movie was filmed in Brooklyn. Obviously, that was a mistake. I'm sorry. My heart is in Brooklyn. A Bronx Tale, obviously, was filmed in Bronx. It was certainly supposed to be a Bronx location. That was my mistake. I guess my heart is in Brooklyn. That's what I think of when I see that kind of a location or atmosphere. But yes, it was filmed in the Bronx. Secondly, people kept telling me, Michael, you said it was a fictionalized story, but really it was an autobiography on Chaz Palminteri's life. Well, yes and no. It wasn't really an autobiography. You know that Chaz first wrote a one-man play called A Bronx Tale. He did it. I heard it was brilliant. I didn't see it. But it was really semi-autobiography. This wasn't really what happened in his life, but there was some things that did occur in his life. His father was a bus driver. He did live in that area. He did, from what I understand, date an African-American young girl at that time. So there was some similarities, but he didn't write the movie for that reason. He wrote it because he wanted to get a message across, and he got a few across. We discussed that last Tuesday. The main one being that it's a shame to waste talent. If you have talent in life, you got to use it. And that's why he wrote the film. So again, half right, half wrong, semi-autobiography, but thank you for bringing it to my attention. Another thing that was brought up, I had said in the video that King Solomon, as a reward for what he didn't ask for, God said, I'm going to make you the most brilliant person alive. I'm going to give you wisdom. Well, he did ask for wisdom, but God also said, I'm rewarding you with wealth and power because you never asked for it, and wisdom also. So again, and I kind of look at it as God really blessed him because he didn't ask for the normal things that people would ask for, wealth and power. He only wanted to be a wise man, and God blessed him with all three at that point in time. So I want to just explain how I interpreted that verse. So with that, I want to answer one other question because I get asked this, I don't know how many times, but quite often, and it's about the Iceman, Richard Kuklinski. People, I don't have much to say about him. You saw the movie, The Iceman. I can tell you that it was certainly exaggerated. Again, these movies, they always take dramatical liberty on them. It was, exaggerated to a degree. Yes, he was involved to a degree with Roy DeMeo's crew. You all know who Roy DeMeo was, but not to the degree that you saw in that movie. Now, I know that for a fact. I don't know that much more about him, but, I will tell you this. Obviously, the guy was a killer. According to, everything you know about him and what I know about him, yeah, he had some perverse desire to kill people. I don't find anything, really to talk about when it comes to something like that. Look, I spent 25 years in that life, people. You figure it out. I saw my share of people coming and going. Can't help it. It's part of the life. If you're part of that life, you're part of the violence. End of story. But who wants to talk about it? Who wants to get into it? Who wants to brag about it? I'm not one of those guys. And I don't like to really talk about guys that were known for that. I don't see any reason. I don't see anything honorable in that. So Please don't ask me about Kuklinski again. I have nothing else to offer. If there's something in particular, a particular fact about him that you think I might be able to shed some light on, fine. But to talk about him in general, I would just, suggest that you watch the movie and get whatever you get about him, Google him and so on and so forth. There's really nothing much more for me to say. So I hope I put that to bed. Last thing, one question that I get asked all the time is, Michael, come on, do you miss that life? Do you really wish that you were still in it? You did so well, you made so much money, and so on and so forth. I get that all the time. Well, I want to answer that, and I want to tell a little story illustrating my answer. And I hope you really pay attention. Back in 1986, I had just taken a plea, as you know, to racketeering. Underlying act was tax fraud. And as a result, I got a 10-year sentence, a big restitution, and I was going off to serve my time. Now, at the time, I was in MCC, Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York, which is the federal jail. And I was there at that time with all the guys from the commission. Persico was there. Jerry Langella, my underboss, was there. Fat Tony was there. Tony Ducks was there. Everybody was there. So many guys, because we were all getting locked up on different racketeering cases. And at the time, as part of my plea agreement, I had negotiated that the judge would recommend that I be sent to the prison in Terminal Island, California. It was a medium security prison. Why? Because it was close to my house. I wanted the visits, and that's where I wanted to be designated. So the judge recommended that to the Bureau of Prisons. Now understand this, the Bureau of Prisons does not have to accept that recommendation. They do what they want. They're the total authority. They can abide by it or not. And in my case, I didn't cooperate. I didn't have a cooperation agreement. So the U.S. Attorney did not tell the Bureau of Prisons to put me in a certain place, because when they have a cooperating witness, they say, hey, we want access to this witness as part of his plea agreement, as part of his cooperation agreement, we're going to have him designated in a certain place, and the Bureau of Prisons will go along with that. The U.S. Attorney, believe it or not, has more power than the judge. But I didn't have that situation, so they were sending me, hopefully, to Terminal Island. But along the way, the designation changed. And instead, I got sent to Phoenix, Arizona. There was a fairly new prison there, a level 3 medium security institution. And they told the judge, sorry, but Terminal Island was overcrowded and they couldn't put me there. That was absolute nonsense. Every prison is overcrowded. People come and go every day. They could have absolutely put me there. They just didn't want to. So I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. It's 100 degrees there. It wasn't a bad prison, I'll be honest with you. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't Terminal Island. So I was there for a couple of months, and my lawyer was trying to get me to Terminal Island. And then one day, I get a call from the lieutenant, over the loudspeaker. Franzese, report to the lieutenant's office. Smokey and the Bandit, the sheriff there. He's a big, fat guy, short haircut, and he sits me down at his desk, and he throws this article at me, picks up this magazine right here, was written in 1986, Fortune magazine, 50 biggest mafia bosses. He takes it and he throws it on a table. And he looks at it and he says, I don't want any mafia bosses taking over my prison. He said, what is this all about? Honestly, I didn't know anything about it. I hadn't heard about it. I was in prison. I didn't get the magazine. Nobody told me about it. I didn't know anything about it. And I said, Lieutenant, I don't know anything about this article. What does it have to do with me? He said, what does it have to do with you? He said, the reporter for this magazine was all over television today talking about you and all your mafia associates. I said, well, what do you want from me, Lieutenant? I got no control over that. He says, you got no control? And he opens it up like this, and he shows me this chart. Now, they actually had a chart with the 50 of us on there according to rank and wealth, power, and influence. And you probably can't see it here, but if you look down to number 18, that was me, Michael Franzese. I was the youngest guy on the list. Number 1 on this was Fat Tony Salerno, and they go down the list of the whole 50. Now, he shows that to me, and I said, well, what do you want me to do? I didn't write the article. I don't know this guy. I don't know anything about it. And then he opens up to another page, and he says, well, look, at all of these guys here, and he shows this Persico, and this, Fat Tony, and Anthony Accardo, and John Gotti, and he shows me my picture, and he says, they wrote all about you in here. And I kept saying, Lieutenant, what do you want me to do? I said, I have no control over who writes what about me. What do you want from me? He says, well, I'm locking you down. He said, I'm going to lock you down because we don't need any high-profile mafia people in my prison. I said, hey, Lieutenant, lock me down if that's what you want. I said, I don't care what you do. Just make sure I get my visits and my phone calls. That's all I care about. You can lock me down, put the food through the door. I'm happy. That's what I told him. Now, and he did lock me down for about 2 weeks until, in his mind, everything calmed down. I don't know what was supposed to calm down, but in the Bureau of Prisons, they don't like you to have any kind of publicity or notoriety. They frown on that because for them, that could be possible trouble in the yard. So they kept me in lockdown for a couple of weeks. Nothing new, right? Now, let me make this clear about this article, okay? Written in 1986, you can probably look it up somewhere. I don't know. I got one copy of it. Let me make this clear. This is a silly article. How do you rank 50 guys according to wealth and power? We didn't give them our tax returns. You know, it was a silly article. I don't say I'm number 18 or number 800 or whatever. It was a silly article. It made no sense to me whatsoever. But the reporter thought it up. He made it a huge story. It's half the magazine. And obviously it sold out well because anything about the mob usually gets people attention. They buy the magazine. It was a silly article, people, believe me. John Gotti was number 18 number 13 at the time. He wasn't made boss yet. My father wasn't even on the list. You know, back and forth. They had Jerry Lang on top of Carmine Persico. Persico was his boss. So none of it made sense. It's silly, so I disavow that list, okay? So I don't look at it as anything like a badge of honor or courage or anything like that. But point is, if you go down this list of 50, just take the list and go down the list of 50. Where is it? Let me find it again, right here. The sad thing about this list right here is out of the list of 50, and one time I was told that 49 of them were dead. Not true. I believe 46 of them or 47 of them are dead. One of them I know is out. He's in his 70s. And I believe 2 more could be alive and in their 90s. I'm not going to mention their names because they probably don't want me to. But the sad thing about it is that from 1986 till now, a period of about 35, 34 years, all of these people died or in prison. So when you ask me would I want to go back to that life, why would I want to be one of those that are either dead or in prison for the rest of their life? That absolutely would have happened to me. People, you cannot get away with this stuff anymore. I go into prisons all the time and I speak to young people and I speak to gangbangers and I speak to those young people that made a mistake and I speak to the older ones too. And I tell them straight out, you do not get away with criminal conduct in America anymore. Even in today's crazy stages where people are doing things and seemingly they get away with it, they won't. It will catch up to them. Trust me on that. You don't get away with it when you stay in a life of crime. Why would I want to go back there? I have a life now. I have a wife. I have children. I have a ministry. I have a life. All because I walked away from that life. Now, did I have some good times? Yes. But remember, I was arrested 17, 18 times. I had 7 indictments, 2 federal indictments. I had state racketeering cases. I spent more money on lawyers and on investigations than you can imagine. I lost a ton of money. So everything that I gained by ill-gotten means, I lost. So why would I want to go back to that? And even though, yes, I had friends in that life, and I didn't leave that life because I was mad at anybody. I left that life because I wanted to preserve my life and the life of my families. I didn't want to hurt anybody. I wasn't mad at anybody. But I made the best possible decision that I could make. And by the grace of God, I'm alive and sitting here to talk about it. So I need you to understand that. And I will discourage anybody and anyone from getting involved in a criminal lifestyle. It just doesn't work. So I hope you understand that. If you're young people out there listening to me, I'm going to make it even more distinct for you. You know, in life, even when you're doing the right thing and everything is good, you're doing the right thing, you're just a good person, what happens? God forbid you get sickness, God forbid you're in an accident, you lose your job, something happens in your family. Even when everything's good, something is going to happen in life because we live in a fallen world. When you do the wrong thing and you get involved in criminal conduct or you keep making mistakes, you put more baggage on your shoulders to carry around throughout your life. And before you know it, you're 30, 40, 50 years old. You say, what the heck did I do with my life? People, you got to play it straight. You got to do the right thing in life. You got to, because the wrong thing only leads you in the wrong direction. So I hope I've answered that and really put that to bed this time. It does not pay to be involved in the criminal lifestyle. So please understand that. I hope I made that clear and I don't have to answer this question again. And if you have any questions about this, about maybe turning your life around, is it difficult? Yes, it is. But anything that's worth anything is normally difficult. It's not that easy, unless you win the lottery. And most people that win the lottery have a problem with the money they get afterwards. They blow it. So things in life that matter, they usually come with a struggle or a challenge. Remember that. But if you can overcome that, you're in pretty good shape. So that's it for today. Monday will be Mob Movie Monday again. I'm not going to tell you what movie, but tune in. It's going to be one that I know you all love. You've asked me about it 100 times. Tune in to Mob Movie Monday on Monday. Subscribers, thank you. We're over 200,000 subscribers in 3 months. That might even be a record. People are telling me. I don't know. I don't track that kind of stuff, but it's thanks to all of you, to the loyalty, to the fact that you enjoy the content, and we keep working hard to provide good content. Next week, okay, I believe you're going to see the interview with Bruce McNall, owner of the Kings, brought Wayne Gretzky, did some time in prison, very dear friend of mine, great stories. He was a film producer, big guy in sports. He had a big imprint on professional sports, and you're going to love the interview, I guarantee it. Darryl Strawberry, coming up soon. He's coming to town. He and I are going to sit down, not on Zoom. We're going to sit down. Great story, transform. I love Darryl. What a fighter he is and how he's transformed his life. Great. Mike Tyson, after the fight in November, don't worry, I'm going to tackle Big Mike and I'm going to have him when you're going to hear some different questions from him. 2 Brooklyn guys sitting down and talking. Donnie Brasco, coming up. Okay, as soon as we can get together, again, I don't like the Zoom stuff. As soon as we can get together in a real sit down, you're going to see him too. So that's it for today. MichaelFranzese.com. We keep growing. I'm getting more compliments. And you know what? It's not even me. I brought you all together, but you're uplifting so often. The messages and the comments, people are just, it's a place to go to be encouraged and to get information. And we're providing good content on there. Keep watching because it keeps getting better and better and better. And the Zoom calls I have with my inner circle every 2 weeks, terrific. I love it. Getting so much dialogue back and forth. It's been terrific. So that's it for today. See you on Monday for Mob Movie Monday. And what do I always tell you? Be safe, be healthy. God bless. See you next time.